Hello and welcome, everybody, this lovely afternoon to a new episode of Traveling the World using Google Maps Street View imagery. Today, I'm going to bring you to a place that I've been wanting to do for a long time, which is Manaus. Some of you may know Manaus already. The ones who don't know, my question is, how can I make you interested? Well, Manaus is the biggest city in the state of Amazonas in Brazil. It has 2.2 million Amazonians living there, and I think it is just a very interesting place to explore. It is by the Amazonas River. Well, in fact, it is by the Rio Negro River, but it is also where Amazonas and Rio Negro meet. To give you a little bit of input, I was scrolling through the Manaus Wikipedia article, and I want to read you this short section about the rubber boom. Manaus was at the center of the Amazonas region's rubber boom during the late 19th century. For a time, it was one of the gaudiest cities of the world. I don't actually know what gaudy means. But anyway, historian Robin Furneaux wrote of this period. No extravagance, however absurd, deterred the rubber barons. If one rubber baron bought a vast yacht, another would install a tame lion in his villa, and a third would water his horse on champagne. The city built a grand opera house with vast domes and gilded balconies, and using marble, glass, and crystal from around the world. The opera house cost 10 million public-funded dollars. In one season, half of the members of one visiting opera troupe died of yellow fever. The opera house, called the Teatro Amazonas, was effectively closed for most of the 20th century. However, it was used in scenes of Werner Herzog's film Fitzcarraldo with Klaus Kinski, the enfant terrible German actor. After a gap of 90 years, it reopened to produce live opera in 1997 and is now attracting performers from all over the world. I think this gives a pretty good introduction to the kind of distant imagination I have about Manaus, that it is a humid, yellow fever plagued, dense, buzzing city amidst a gigantic jungle with loads of great architecture that gives testimony of time when residents were well off and factories were booming. So, on the map, Manaus is right here. You see the state of the Amazonas. This is Brazil overall. It is very far away from absolutely anything or any city you might know in Brazil. Just to give you an idea, from Rio de Janeiro, it's 2,700 kilometers. So, and I think any traveler who wants to travel the Amazonas will eventually, come across Manaus. It would be the place where to stop, it would be the place with hotels. So, my idea for today's travel has been to go from Ponte Rio Negro, somewhere here, into the city center of Manaus. So kind of having this half-circled trajectory, plus minus. And the other thing that might be interesting to you is here, Encontro das Aguas. Because here is where the two rivers meet, and yes, in fact, you can see a sharp border. I am not sure why these waters connect in that way. I can only imagine that, one river is more muddy than the other, one river has more, maybe has a different temperature, different kind of pH level, different soils, I don't know. If you do know, please let me know. And all this talking aside, here we are at the bridge, Ponte Rio Negro, and just look how absolutely vast the Rio Negro River is. I mean, isn't that just astonishing? Perhaps it is worth measuring it, at least somehow. Yes, 4 kilometers, kind of where the bridge is, and from the city center to the other side, 3 kilometers. 3 kilometers, how, I've asked this question before, how wide is the river in your city? 3 kilometers. But anyway, without further ado, let's start our journey. This is where I would like to end up here in the distance. What's this? A bridge into nowhere. Yeah. And Manaus has very good street view coverage, but I don't really know the exact right path, so perhaps in times it might be difficult for me to, I might venture off track again, and if I do, I apologize. I try to make it better next time. Somehow I just can't find the right position for my microphone today. But I'm trying my best, so let's hope we come across some interesting sites and we are not majorly confused as to where we have to go. From the approach, I would say this is similar to my video of Taipei, where we also started at some spot. In this case it was the bridge, in Taipei case it was Taipei 101 Tower, and kind of ventured towards the city center to explore it. Yeah, I'm already realizing immediately why I have been a little bit restrained to make any South American videos so early into this channel, because I actually have nothing to say. I had Spanish in school, which is not going to be helpful because they speak Portuguese in Brazil. But also I don't really know anything about this kind of architecture, this kind of lifestyle, and the easiest thing I could fall trap is to just spread a bunch of stereotypes. One thing I can tell you without being an expert though, is that when construction workers wear neck scarves and cover their heads or full bodies, it is absolutely boiling here. Even though it doesn't look like it. I mean, what would you say? 20, 25 degrees? I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit. 60, 70, 80, I don't know. And maybe it is not so warm, but it could be that the sun is very aggressive. I guess we are somewhat, well, we are not near to the equator in that sense, but yeah, somehow I would imagine that it's quite intense. I cannot also tell you if like streets like this are poor or dangerous, or just like your average road here in Manaus. I really don't know, but I guess through exploring this city we can build some kind of understanding. So let's do that. Now of course I have looked at the map a little bit. I'm not stupid. I didn't want to go completely empty knowledge into this map. This is one of the housing estates that are kind of fenced off, which immediately gives me the feeling of like there's a reason to fence things off. But I really don't know how dangerous it is here. Hello, young man. Vende se dim dim. Please translate. Is he selling something or is he just crossing the street? This is beautiful. sort of, I'm always tempted to say colonial architecture, but I will not say it. I will just say it's a beautifully constructed concrete something. I mean, it's all a bit run down, but I don't really know what's the purpose of this. It really doesn't do anything. Still nice though. It's the best kind of architecture, isn't it? The ones that actually doesn't really do anything. Amidst my blabbering, you will have noticed that we have turned right from the bridge street to, I guess, Avenue Brazil. Not I guess that we are on the street, I just guess that AV is short for Avenue or Avenida or something like this. My god, it must be really hot. People are standing in the shade. I think that's gonna be an interesting theme. How many different ways can we find for people to protect themselves from the sun? I mean, these guys must be experts. Look, drunk person crossing the sidewalk. In Germany, that would be called a building fail. The zebra crossing goes into the wall, so you have to go a bit left to cross this breach, little breaches. Sorry about that. Alright, let's venture on. Ui, traffic jam, yeah, okay. He's an experienced man in the sun, he knows what to do. Like, once you are fully tanned in Manaus, you are fully tanned. Like, nothing can harm you. You have the respect of the elderly, respect of the young, and you're just a tanned man, you know? Before you were just a man standing by the side of the road. Now you're a distinguished tanned man. Oh yeah, we basically just follow Avenida Brazil, sorry if it's not called Avenida, into what I believe is the city center, and from there we're just gonna see what will happen. What is this in the middle here? It's just some kind of ditch. You know, as a pedestrian, which is kind of the way I move around cities all the time, having long obstacles in the city that you cannot cross or only through these like small bridges that we have seen earlier is always annoying. So if I was to work here in Inselfilm and I wanted to cross the street somewhere to grab lunch, and I always had to go around these extra couple of 200 meters, it would be annoying in this heat, wouldn't it be? But yeah. Nice old Volkswagen. And this building, like, it's just so hard to say if it is no, it isn't finished. There's the floor missing. But also it looks old, like it wasn't finished when it was built. But I'm sure it would have looked nice. Can really see how they tried to sort of accentuate the street corner, which, you know, is nice. Street corner is a meeting place. Corner cafes. We are making very good progress. No complaints yet from my side. The street view coverage is spot on. Absolutely excellent. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. I've also realized that in a few of my last videos, and if you have seen them, I'm kind of sorry. I think the audio was, you could understand it, but I was kind of breathing and speaking too loudly into the microphone, which is because I tend to lean into the screen, which kind of You know, I'm still figuring things out. I mean, give me a little bit of time. I'm trying my best. And I hope that's gonna be good enough for you. Mm-hmm. What can we buy here? Nothing. Hmm. Ah, they're selling like orange juice and biscuits or something, which is kind of nice. And what's this? Some kind of water tower or... Nice. I would totally get hammered in that place. If it wasn't just so hot, you know. Maybe in the city center we can find, like by the town hall or something. I don't know if we're actually gonna find the town hall, but maybe we can find the temperature somewhere. That would be very interesting. On some LED display. LED display. But first we have to venture through what I believe is the suburbs, although it's quite a big city, so we might already be in what would be considered a more central area, which has... it has a certain atmosphere to it, a certain vibe. It would be interesting over time, when we maybe go to other cities in Brazil, to see how Manaus is different from Rio. Because certainly I would think that Rio and Brasilia, for example, not alone due to the architecture, of course also due to the climate and difference in vegetation and whether you're on the sea or not, the cities are very distinct from one another. But I don't know to which either one of them Manaus is closer or more similar. Everything you need for your wedding. She looks definitely way more happy than he does. I just wanted to say, I'm trying to not click on these kind of businesses. Nice trick, Google. But it's hard. It's just so full of them, like... in that sense, it's similar to Taipei. It's just constantly shops. Like every street of the city has a shop. Has shops on both sides, like... just never ends, you know. It's a nice color. Some kind of fight club? No, Jesus Club. Tattoo artist. Getting some San Francisco vibes here. Alright. Don't worry guys, we are getting there. Skate park, bus station. I'm gonna kind of do it now like football commentators that are always like just mentioning what's happening when actually there isn't anything happening. They're like, okay, Blue House, Toyota, construction, broken street. Oh, hello. I would like one lemonade, please. No, I don't want a banana. Banana juice is not so refreshing, huh? You would really want like a cold Coca-Cola or something. could imagine that a bottle of Coke is quite worth something here. Alright, here across this bridge we have a view to the city center, or what I believe is the city center. I mean, at least in the distance there are higher buildings, which for all I know could also indicate suburbs, more suburbs. By the way, it is for most coverage here July 2019. This is February, March, February, July. Alright. Some kind of scale. Olympico Club. Yeah. Anyway, same problem as always. We fell off the bridge. Which Google Street View seems to be struggling with, to stay at the same lane when you have different lanes going on top of and underneath one another. Which sorry. Which is, yeah, I don't know, it's a bit annoying for what we want to do, but usually it throws us kind of under the bridge, under the bus, under the bridge, and like in Milan or something, you know, we always discover some kind of shenanigans, some kind of graffiti, or some kind of something. They are waiting for the bus. Ooh. Look at their faces. It looks like some intern just kind of blurred them on paint or something. Is it always like this? It's not, is it? Strange. Maybe it is always like this, it just kind of looked strange to me. But that doesn't really mean anything. Let's get going a little bit. Here I have to say, the sort of getting to the center from the suburbs, from even out of the city. I guess the bridge would be out of the city. I mean, on the other side, there's no Manaus. I mean, on the other side of Rio Negro. But anyway, it was relatively smooth, huh? You didn't feel like, I guess, how you feel in some sort of American or Australian cities, that when you come to the city center, to the CBD, Central Business District, then it really like a change from day and night if you cross over one junction. You know, suddenly buildings are much higher, it's much more dense, there will be shops. But here it seemed very more sort of like, I guess, organic, you could say. Alright, let's go right here, because we have already kind of passed the center on the outside of it. Yeah, look, this is kind of how images are blurred usually. There's not this kind of like grain in there. But yeah, I don't know. Oh yes. Wasn't I just saying that Coca-Cola would be such a nice thing to have now, and the holy God sent us a Coca-Cola truck. Can this day get any better? Let's find out. With these tiles, by the way, it's immediately clear that this is a barbershop that sells vegetables too. Because somehow, you know, these barbershops that have these, well, turning poles outside with blue, white, and red. It somehow comes from times when barbers were also sort of like working as, cleaning, hygiene, doctor people, and I don't know, the red symbolizes the blood, and the blue symbolizes something else, and the white symbolizes that they are also doctors, and I don't know, it comes from the military or something. There's some history to these poles that I've read more than once and forgotten more than once, so I think the takeaway for you is that there is something to know about these poles. It comes from somewhere that we associate them with barbers or hairdressers. Okay, we're now here. I suppose we can go a little bit further down. Like... Not this one, but the next one. Take the bigger street. Not because I like them so much, I just would assume that it's relatively smooth to get through here, and it connects to parts of the city where we want to be. As opposed to running into the first small street I see just because I want to leave the big street and then getting stuck. Can you imagine waiting for the bus here? Like, would it ever come? Wow, look at this bin as well. I just meant, like, with this kind of traffic jam. This guy is just standing strangely here. This kind of traffic jam, how can you be reliant on a bus? It's a very difficult life. Not that they choose to, I suppose, but just saying. It's a very transparent bin, I have to say. I kind of like it. Just as I like these houses. And as I like these cables. Oh my god. On one hand, from my European perspective, seeing these cables always appears so like chaos and like someone is stealing electricity somewhere. But at second thought, if you had to repair anything, this would just be so more straightforward than like digging a hole and finding the cable that even comes to your house, And if the weather allows for having these cables outside, then it's probably nice. I mean, in a way, it's its own aesthetic, huh? Really don't mind it. Wait. Some satellite. Wow. Behind these walls might be the Brazilian space shuttle mission headquarters. Do you also sometimes travel around Google Maps and wish that it had more functions? Like you could chat someone up on the street, or you could... I'm not talking like GTA, but like you could sort of have a honk on your car, or go into a shop more smoothly. Like I know there are images from inside shops, but like finding them like somehow, that everything would be a little bit more interactive. So we are approaching the center, at least where it says Central. And by the way, you don't really see it, huh? Because it's too blue. Oh no. Here at the bottom left, everything that is yellow, I always associate with there being the more historic part of the city center. And I don't know if that's true. Or maybe it just means like there is administratively the center. The one nice thing that Google Maps is advantageous of actually being here. Oh, this looks so run down. Ooh, look at that mine. Like Google Maps, you can always travel on every way on every road if there is street view. In reality, of course, you can't. But this looked very run down, huh? I'm not too excited to. Imagine you live here, like, oof, I don't know. I don't know. So, you know, we have read that it was a wealthy city. Well, at least there were wealthy people in the city. But at first glance, it doesn't strike me now as a particularly wealthy city. Like, I'm sure it has its nicer parts. I didn't check, of course, where they are, as we're just kind of tumbling around here. This must be an older building. Actually, it does look like a bit of a... Let's have a quick look down here. And these houses are different now. They are older, more like... Yeah, I don't know, how does this look like to you? Spain or New Orleans? It's so hard to have the right kind of association with things. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like there's a lot of money circulating around, and then we also know that it is probably the center of the Amazonas, the urban center, like, you know. So I guess there is some kind of business to be done here. I mean, these are office towers, huh? Oof. Imagine these things would be tumbling down. These are office towers. So there must be offices. But I don't really know what Manaus would be known for. Like, is it like a city like what Lyon is in France, or is it like kind of what Oklahoma City is in the US, in Brazil? Okay, this is city center now. That's a little bit more taken care of. I mean, this building, in all honesty, could just exactly the way it is also be in any European city. You wouldn't have to change absolutely bloody anything. Which makes me think that once there was money here, they kind of started to build in this European way. Well, I guess, you know, not necessarily by choice. Because, you know, okay, what about that? We go down to the river shortly, have a look how it is like, what it is like. I don't know, I'm really blubbering nonsense. I feel like I've been doing too many videos in a row. I should really take some break. Wow, it's nice, yeah. Could be... Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking around here. Brazil has been a colony of Portugal, so these houses are based on houses you would find in Portugal, I suppose. Perhaps they have some sort of local touch to them, but perhaps not. You know, the history of colonization is it's a dark, evil thing that needs to be discussed carefully and thoughtfully, and I'm not right here in this format to do that. I'd much rather buy a souvenir, like a postcard, write something on it, and find a post office in the city center. Well, I'm just checking the time once in a while if you wonder where I'm looking. Drogarias. Okay, but let me just go a little bit back and let me go to the city center. I would just like to see a little bit more of it. So here we are. Ooh, this looks nice. With a tree. Oh, cold beer. Cold Coca-Cola. He might be a tourist. Well, never know. I guess that I guess tourism would be a thing here. Perhaps nothing crazy, but I'm sure it is part of many sort of like organized trips through the Amazon to have a day or two in Manaus. Look at these houses up here. Completely fallen into disrepair. But somehow it would be nice to get a closer look at them. Maybe through here. Oh yeah. Beautiful though, huh? Especially because somehow, I guess it's the weather that it's just so humid that like the facades get so dirty and like somewhat sandy or muddy, and like, I mean, even look at these trees here, you know, oh my god. What kind of bush is that even? This looks absolutely beautiful. A church. And you can buy some. Well, he must have bought all of them. Teatro Amazonas. Isn't this what we read? Yes. Let's go there. Let's have a look. But let's take the right. The right sort of exit. Because we read about it, didn't we? That it was closed for the bigger part of the 20th century. Now it is open. It has a beautiful dome. Ooh. It is indeed very beautiful. Just as a side note, there's a bike path for my urbanist friends. Look at this theater. How close can I get? Carmen, famous piece. Lucia de Lammermoor is performing here. You can buy some kind of popcorn. Here, life is okay. Kind of get the idea that it's sort of afternoon, evening-ish. And somehow has cooled down a bit, huh? But very beautiful theater. I kind of wanna just... Oh, Imagine you have the full, like, I don't know, 1 to 200 scaled model of the Teatro Amazonas in Manaus at home. That would be so cool, you know? Even with this, like, dingle dongle on top it has there. What is that? Can we see it somehow? Is this inside or on top? Neither. Well, guys, I'm sure there's loads more to see, but it's already getting towards the 40 minute mark, if not already a little bit over. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek into this distant, unknown city to me. Um, Discovering it little by little as we go. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. So take care. Have a lovely day, evening, whenever you see this, and bye bye.